Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It's Thursday night football. You know what that means. It's time to break down the game. Scott Bogman, me, Joey P, out here hanging out, talking a little ball with all of you. So hopefully you're having a good Thursday, hanging out with us and looking at the possibilities for tonight's Jacksonville Jaguars versus New Orleans Saints game. I got to tell you, Boggs, this game scares the ever-loving crap out of me. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It just does. Obviously, it looks like you have Trevor Lawrence, who is going to gut it out and play today. Seems like he is doing okay. Good positive news on there, so that's good. New Orleans is a team that's 3-3 and deservedly so, and they feel like a 3-3 team, a team that is going to look good some weeks, other weeks not so good. I know the weaknesses of the Jacksonville Jaguars of that secondary. I understand that. Derek Carr is coming off a 300-yard game. There's a lot of interesting pieces here. So how do you feel about this one here tonight? Because these are two good teams that can be good, but it's also two teams that can play poorly at other times.
Yeah, and to me, the worst team is at home, which makes it even stranger, right? So I think Jacksonville's a better team, but they're getting 2 points because they're on the road against New Orleans. This feels like this should be a bigger rivalry game, right? These two teams should be, let's put all these teams in the South in the same division. Let's put the Floridas and New Orleans in the same division. I don't know. New Orleans and Houston also could have the same division as well. But I don't know, man. Yeah, this one feels weird because when you look at it, you go, okay, both these offenses are pretty good. Like you said, Derek Carr with the 50 pass attempts last week against Houston. Okay. And then Jacksonville just hasn't put it all together. They've won, they're 4-2, so they're playing fine, but they haven't had that game where you go, wow, Jacksonville is a major problem. They haven't done that yet. So to me anyway, so we're kind of waiting for that to come through. Probably not tonight, right? Because Trevor Lawrence is less than 100% and he's gutting it out, as you mentioned, but they're probably going to make some short throws. You don't want that guy getting hit and getting hurt worse.
Right.
So you don't want to go to CJ Beathard, though. So
if I was coaching this game, and I'm not tonight, but Travis Etienne has been. Well, I mean, I could. I do have.
Give him that resume.
I do have 2 perfect flag football seasons, 3 championships under my belt.
Joe, are you going to coach
2 other finals
in the Olympics in 2028? Coach Pizzapia with Tyreek Hill and all the rest of the gang playing some flag football?
I didn't even think about that.
Let's campaign it. Joe Pizzapia 2028.
2028 is a couple years away. I think I could do it.
Well, you know what? I'll be your defensive coordinator. We're gonna go. We're gonna run under the card Pizzapia Bogman for 2028.
100%. Well, the funny thing is, like last year, I love that, by the way, in the Pro Bowl last year when they were playing the flag football, because it's fun to watch them try to play under the rules where the quarterback can't run. Like there's all these NFL flag rules that I'm aware of because we play on them every weekend. But the guys were all confused about them at all times, and it was very funny to watch them. And you could tell the game started out a little like, haha, whatever, and then about like 15 minutes into it, they got real competitive and it got really fun. But the Tyler's quote here in the stream, if I was coaching this team, Etienne's been really good the last couple of weeks. Travis Etienne gets a good workload here. Like you said, trying to get rid of the ball quickly. I think Christian Kirk is a guy that's certainly in play today. I think that's the approach you want to do. You want to keep Trevor Lawrence protected. And on the other side, I think if Derek Carr's shoulder, which appears to be certainly heading in the right direction here after last week.
We had questions about him after he threw 50 passes, but there were little questions.
The were very low in terms of ADOT and very low in terms of percentages. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So to me, I think that's the biggest part. Is right in this game.
Are you taking Jacksonville or New Orleans? Did you say?
I'm still trying to figure it out. In fact, let's figure it out together here. I want to hear Scott Bogman's take on this one. I've gone back and forth all day, but we're here for it. So before we get to the game, don't forget, new giveaway alert. It's time for our latest giveaway here at Betting Pros, and it's a Robert Tonyan autographed jersey signed by Robert Tonyan himself, the Chicago Bears' own tight end. So how do you get this? You subscribe to the channel here at Betting Pros YouTube. Also drop a comment below. That's it. That's all you got to do to win this jersey. And don't forget to click that little bell till it goes ding so you know every time a piece of content drops here on our Betting Pros channel. Let's talk about it here. The Jacksonville Jaguars, as of right now, 2.5 point underdogs on the road, minus 115. Excuse me. The best number you can get here is at BetMGM. If you like New Orleans side of this, the best number is minus 1.5 at minus 115 over on FanDuel. And to me, that feels like the way I'd be leaning here. Is I think being at home, I'm going to give the New Orleans Saints, the defense, the health of Trevor Lawrence, all those things into effect. I'm going to lean towards the New Orleans side. The 40.5, I think, is a fascinating one because my instincts tell me the under, but Thursday night football is always weird. So I almost want to stay away from that one too. The money line right now for New Orleans, minus 130 on DK, plus 118 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The best number you can find is on Caesar. So to me, Boggs, the best number here is the New Orleans. I know it's boring, and I've been very not boring on these standalone games lately, and it has paid off. But I'm feeling boring here. Minus 1.5 at minus 115. The home favorite, New Orleans. I think this is just the way I want to go. But where do you stand on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the opposite of you. I feel like I feel better about the total because the Saints are the only team that are 0-6 playing to the over. So they have not had one game go over yet this year. I respect both these defenses. So to me, I would rather take the total and go under than take a side. But I would be on the Jacksonville side because I think they're the better team and they're getting points, even though they're on the road, even though Trevor Lawrence is banged up. I just think overall, and we will get to, the Saints have some offensive line issues, some big offensive line issues.
They do. And maybe Josh Allen gets in there for some stuff and makes some things happen tonight. I also think what you're trying to look, this is why it's such a close one here. The 40.5 to me is such a good number that I'm just.
We like props tonight.
I would lean towards the under, but yeah, I think if you're going to attack this game tonight, not every game is great. Sometimes they're just not great games in order to attack because the lines are set really well and the opportunities are few and far between. And when we've looked at it, look, if you like Jacksonville, you might as well bet them right on the money line at plus 118 and just go to that. I think if you really think they're going to go in there, you think they are quote unquote the better team, and they might be. I feel like the better team doesn't always win these games on Thursday night. We've seen that a lot in our lives as well. So this is a very tricky one. So maybe it's a little bit more of the individuals. What is the path for the Jacksonville Jaguars victory tonight if they do get one?
I mean, it is attack Derek Carr and take advantage of that weak O-line, stop the run up front. That is on the defensive side. That's it for me. I do think Jacksonville may have some issues on offense. I respect the New Orleans defense. I think it's very good, which is why I like the total more than I like picking a side. I think it's going to be a big time mistake or a big time play that really pushes this game one way or the other. So I think that the result is very much a coin flip, but I do think the total is going to be under.
Manny's joining us from Mexico. What's up, Manny?
What up,
I also
Manny?
want to hit SMN's quote here too on the chat. Jacksonville plus 7.5. So teasing up, and then the under 47.5. And Kirk with the 4.5 receptions. Now that's an interesting combination. I assume he means putting them all together because once you go up there, obviously the calculus is going to change quite a bit.
Honestly, the one I worry about the most would be the Kirk one in that, because I think this is going to be a close game. So I think 7.5 either way is solid. The 47.5, I like the under at 40.5. So I love that one.
Yeah, I feel way better on the 47.5 there. If you want to tease that up, SMN, and like you said, we were talking like if you do this, then you got to find some value other places, which is very important. And we'll do that. We will find some values other places here. This is from Paul Revere. So took some time out from yelling about the British coming. What do you guys think about Alvin Kamara under receiving yards tonight?
I don't like it. And look, I understand the logic behind it is because Jamal Williams is coming back in and going to play some certain type of role. But I think with those offensive line problems for the Saints, I think you're going to see a bunch of quick dump off passes. And I think that could affect big double play for the Diamondbacks. I think that could affect, how this game
is multitasking.
I've watched 150 Diamondback games this year, and they're in the playoffs right now. So I'm losing it a little bit, guys. I'm very sorry here, but because of the offensive line issues for New Orleans, I think we're going to make quick, short passes for Derek Carr, and we know Alvin Kamara can take one and go. So I think he's going to be targeted a bunch in this game, and I don't think it's going to be that role is not going to be taken by Jamal Williams, in my opinion. So
yeah, see the problem too with the tease up to the 7.5 is the juice becomes. I'm looking at FanDuel because I was curious what it was. It's minus 330, And again, like you're pushing. Here's the thing I don't like to do. And SMN, this is something where good wagering, bad wagering. You're trying to massage things into a place where you feel really comfortable with all these numbers. But the problem is the juice becomes so much. You have to put too many things together. And the more parlay pieces you put together, the more variables you have. And the more variables you have, the harder it is to make money because inevitably one of those variables kicks you in the rear end. So I would.
But I'll tell you what, in terms of the way parlays work, I feel real comfortable about the first two parts of that.
Right, but by the time,
third is that's
I know, but like you take the 330 and then I got to look at what the other ones would be. But by the time you put all that together, you're getting to what, maybe 2-1. So you'd have to bet it super hard. Number one, you have to put like a couple units on there. But also, again, you're adding all these other variables. So, I mean, to me, what I'd rather do is find one thing I really like and just bet that hard instead and just hope you get that one outcome that you think is the best.
Well, it's also, it's also like, you have both parts of that. Like Kirk got it easy and the score is 27-20 and Jacksonville has the ball and kicks a field goal for no reason at the end of the game. And you're pulling your hair, you're ripping it out.
Like if you really think Jacksonville's going to win this game, don't tease this to there. Like, get it to, because that's a little too much. Like the 3.5 at -166. Then you want to live dangerously, have some fun. That's where you do it. Once you get to the -330, I think you're just putting yourself behind the 8 ball. That's what I think anyone SMN. But again, this is your journey. This is your personal spiritual journey through sports wagering. We want you to have fun here. So don't, do whatever makes you happy. But again, this is just my advice or whatever.
And look,
I should do a whole show in that voice box.
We're wrong about, it'd be a different show. I think, we're wrong about props all the time, but if you ask our opinion, we'll tell you, this is why I'm not taking this bet. Doesn't mean it won't hit. Doesn't mean that your logic isn't right. Yeah. It just means that I'm thinking about it in a different way. But that is also why you guys ask the questions, is to get a different perspective.
Yeah, so Monday's game had a lot of weird variables in it too, including that Damian Harris incident that happened. And whenever that happened, you could see like just the air go out of the stadium, the air go out of the Buffalo
weird.
Bills.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because you're reliving that trauma for all those guys, which is really tough. And once that happened, I should have, again, I was, hanging out with the kiddos. It was, whatever. We were watching a show and I was watching the game, catching up there. And I remember thinking to myself when I got up there at halftime, I was like, man, that's a great live betting opportunity there. And I wish I had taken it. But that's the other thing too. You could also wait on this line. And that's what I like to do a lot of times, Boggs, when I see a game like this that I'm just kind of on. Let me wait a little bit. If New Orleans gets up early and I still really feel good about the way Jacksonville looks, then you hit Jacksonville hard. In-game live betting, I think, for this game is the way to attack it. Speaking of attacking things, why don't you go make some picks and do it with our NFL contest? This is the way to go here. You could sign up today for free, bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Minimum of 5 bets a week, or not even bets, picks, I should say, because wagering doesn't even have to be legal where you are to play this game. The winner on the year gets a JSN autographed jersey. We're doing weekly prizes, monthly prizes, so you can join anytime. Go to the community tab on the Betting Pros app or go to bettingpros.com/NFL contest to get there today. And we want you to join that bad boy. All right, Scott Bachman, let's talk about props because that's where we can make some money. Let's start with Travis Etienne because, again, giving the ball to him a healthy amount of times, I think, is the way to go. And it seems like you agree.
Yeah, let's get over 16.5 rush attempts. It's -110. And these are his attempts through the first 6 weeks. So we're going over 16.5. He's hit it 5 of 6 weeks, 18, 26, 20, 19, 12, and 18. Thursday night is weird, but with, a gimpy Trevor Lawrence in this game, I think we're definitely going to see over 16.5 attempts for Travis Etienne.
So you like the attempts as opposed to the yardage here. The yardage number is 68.5.
New Orleans defense is still respect, and they're very good. So I don't know what the yardage is going to be for Etienne in the run game. But I do think he's at least going to get the attempts because you cannot hang Trevor Lawrence out to dry. So.
Tyler wants to know over on the 21 receiving yards. I would say with the rushing here tonight, Tyler, if I were you.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a bad number. I just don't like it.
Yeah, the number's fine, and he's actually hit it 4 of 6 weeks. But I just, I think they're gonna run him a lot.
I was gonna say, coming off a big game on Sunday, now it's Thursday. It's one thing to hand him the rock, it's another thing to go ask him. You catch him like that's a lot of work. Like you got to manage what that workload looks like. And you've got enough wide receivers, especially guys like Christian Kirk, who can pick up that short yardage. And you got Evan Ingram. Like you got those guys who, can do those sorts of things working over the middle. So I don't think you tax Etienne on a Thursday night game this much.
Are you verklempt?
I'm getting emotional about it. Chris Olave, 62.5 is the number. What are your thoughts on this one? I know the juice is heavy at -140, but you still like the over, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, look, he crushes this number routinely. Jacksonville grades well, against the pass, but they've given up the second most yards per game. Olave has killed this. In 4 of 6 weeks, he had the 2 bad weeks, right? But with Carr throwing 50 last week, he was over this. And he's your best weapon. I expect Jacksonville to win this game. I expect New Orleans to be playing from behind a little bit. So I think they're going to have to pass late. And I think Olave could get this on 2 catches. He's so talented.
Yeah.
But, that's why the juice is bad. It's -140. So this is something you probably do want to pair with something.
You got to pair it up. Oh, look, it's a good pairing with the ATN. To be honest with you, get those 2 things there. You could probably put those 2 things together, getting like that plus 150-ish range or whatever. Like you're take 2 locks, bet them hard. That's better than trying to add more variables. I always say that to people. And I know it's not fun, but winning money is fun. That's what's fun.
I do like when I was 4 or 5 on Monday.
I was gonna say Monday, you crushed it, brother. You were awesome on Monday. We were texting back and forth there, and good times on that one. Let's get to Rashid Shaheed, another receiver here. We talked about this secondary here. We want to attack it. It looks good on paper. So 18.5 for the longest reception. This one's at -130, but Shaheed is that boomer bust guy. So obviously tonight you're looking for the boom.
Well, he has hit this in 4 of 6 weeks. And Jacksonville, who we just talked about giving up a lot of pass yards here, but they grade well in coverage, but it's because they give up these boom plays. Listen to this, Joe. 40 yards to Pittman, 45 to Granson, 40 to Jonathan Taylor last week. The week before, Diggs got a 48, 29 for Gabe Davis, 43 for Deontay Hardy. 2 weeks ago, they played Atlanta. 33-yarder for Jonnu, the only guy to hit it, but still Jonnu hit it. Tank Dell and Collins had 68 and 27 against Houston. Sky Moore had 54. Watson had 34 and a 39-yarder to Pittman in week 1.
The 39ers. They're the
39ers. Yeah.
They're the minor league affiliate of the 49ers.
Right. Look, this team gives up big plays, and Rashid Shaheed is the big play guy for the Saints. Like I said, he's hit this 4 of 6 weeks. Not going to get a ton of targets. You are going to be sweating this out, most likely. Maybe he doesn't hit it because they can't complete passes because of the O-line problems. But like I said, I think Jacksonville wins this game. I think the Saints have to pass late, and I would give him a shot at this. I really do like this one this week.
All right, next one on the docket that you have is
let's do them together. Yeah.
You want to do them together? Let's do the 2. We got not 1, but 2 defensive ones tonight, boys and girls. This is what we got here. And look, I mentioned at the top of the show here, Josh Allen has that opportunity with the injuries here on this front that for New Orleans, they're a little weaker there. So you've got Josh Allen, 0.75 sacks, -125, but you also got Trayvon Walker, 0.25 sacks, who just has to get that half sack for plus money at +150. Which one do you like more if you only got to pick the one?
I think the Josh Allen one is way more likely to happen because he has 7 sacks this year and Trayvon only has 2.5. But I'll say this. He only has Josh Allen only has sacks in 3 games of 6. So, he's only getting these sacks in half. He gets them in bunches. He got 3 apiece in 2 games and 1 in another game. But the Saints have also given up 19 sacks. Cesar Ruiz is being forced to move to offensive tackle with Ramczyk down and Hurst out, both starting offensive tackles down. Rookie guard Nick Saldiveri is making, I believe this is his first start. Juwan Johnson is out too. We saw a lot of Taysom Hill last week, but because we have both tackles down, I got to think Foster Moreau is going to be in this game a lot, trying to help pass block against Josh Allen. So that takes another receiving threat off the field for New Orleans, which is another reason I like Rashid Shaheed. But I do think that they're going to get him in bunches in this game. And if Jacksonville is up and New Orleans has to pass late, I mean, just pin your ears back and go after him. This is going to be one of those annoying ones that we don't get until probably the 4th quarter for Walker. I think Allen gets one before that, but I think Walker will probably have to wait. But I love the juice. I love the juice on this one because you're getting 1.5 of your money back. If he gets half a sack, he doesn't even have to do the whole one by himself. I think both these guys can get this with that weak offensive line of the Saints. Let's take advantage.
Anytime touchdown scorers tonight, some interesting names on here. Travis Etienne plus 105, still plus right now. But I did see Alvin Kamara's at plus 125, Calvin Ridley plus 195, Chris Olave plus 200, Kirk plus 230, Taysom Hill, the aforementioned, at plus 360. I think always an interesting play. You're getting
That's
more
always
than 3 to 1 on
interesting
that.
because, like I said, I don't think we see
Well, it's
him
usage. The way he gets used is always interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we see him a lot between the the 20s here in this game because, like I said, both offensive linemen down, and by the way, not only both tackles down, short rest for these guys to get right and practice together and get the cadence and all of that stuff this week as well for New Orleans could set them up in some bad offensive situations here. But you take all of that. It doesn't matter when you get down the goal line. Taysom Hill comes in wildcat. Like, they put him at receiver. They run a motion with him. Like, they do a bunch of different stuff for him to score. So that one I like better than, he wasn't even available for receptions. I was trying to find under because he had 7 last week. It ain't going to happen again.
Rashid Shaheed plus 380 anytime touchdown scorer too. Also intriguing to me. Like, that's one where you throw a little sprinkle on that one.
Yeah,
I think that's an interesting one. Good question here. Another one in the chat. I want to bring this up here, which is Jeff making a statement here. Because of the Saints line, Kamara over on the receptions all day. I actually like where Jeff's head's at. I think you could see a fair amount of that too.
I mean, the way they've been using Kamara, you could get that if the line was perfect. I mean, they've just been dumping the ball to him a lot. So,
well, and I think there's this weird narrative building right now where, I mean, the number is 30.5, by the way, which is ridiculously low, I think.
For his receiving yards.
Yeah.
What about for his receptions?
For his receptions, total receptions, that number is 4.5.
Yeah, I don't hate that one. It's a little juice minus 125, but I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, but if you put that with the Shaheed touchdown, you get plus 752, which is what I just did. And you know what? And done. That's it. And then I'm gonna watch the game and see where this one goes. But again, Boggs is on the side here of.
By the way, this is a phone call that Joe and I would have about this game before the game starts if we weren't doing this show. So we'd just be on a call talking about what to
just
pick.
talking about this game.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, if Shaheed gets that score and Alvin Kamara for one, I mean, 7.5 times your money there on, like I said, you can put 1 unit on this and just see what it does. $10 on this, $75. You can go take everybody out for tacos on Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go. That's what it's all about.
And look, it's people taco night, Joe.
White people taco night. It's not limited to only white people. But white people love it the most. One of my best songs. All right, everybody. Again, Bogman in on the Jacksonville side. I'm in on the wait and see. I want to bet this one live and see how these teams are and how they look. I got to get a feel for this game first. Bogman's in on the over on this game, right?
Under because the Saints always play to the under. Plus, I don't like gimpy Trevor Lawrence. I don't like gimpy offensive line for the Saints. I think we see a lot of D.
All right. I'm in on the Rashid Shaheed touchdown problem. That's where I'm on there. I like this one. Let's go, baby. I'm going to roll the dice with the boom and the bust and see what happens here for this one. But again, just to recap all of Bogman's props for everybody just joining us. Trayvon Walker, 0.25 sacks, plus 150 over. Josh Allen over the 0.75 sacks, minus 125. But again, a really good one. Rashid Shaheed over 18.5 longest receptions at minus 130. Chris Olave, 62.5 receptions, minus 140. And then the Travis Etienne, 16.5 rushing attempts, minus 110. That's the over 2. And I've seen that number climb already to 17.5 just since we've been doing the show at some other places. So lock it in, get your BP app going, get it ready to go, because that's what it's all about. And again, we'll be back here on Monday night to do it all again. Hope you guys had fun. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. Enjoy your Thursday night football.
Go D-backs.